Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back for another figure news recap of the last 2 weeks of everything that we got in Dragon Ball figures. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. We're going to go through everything that we got, including a couple of things that we already did talk about. Of course, on the screen, you can see the Ginyu Force, as this is an overview. But I do want to note, as for the Ginyu Force and the next thing that we're going to talk about, which is the Frieza Ichiban Kuji, we're going to go over them in a more general sense. And if you would like to see my more detailed thoughts on them, I do have separate news videos, as you can see here and here, if you'd like to learn more about those specifically with even more detail and my thoughts on each individual figure. By the way, we're almost at 1K, so thank you guys so much for that. But of course, like I said, we did get this random Ichiban Kuji announced for April, which is weird because obviously we were waiting for the February one, which was the Frieza one, from the official Ichiban Kuji website. Of course, being a Ginyu Force based one, prize A being Kaioken Goku, prize B being Ginyu, prize C being Recoome, prize D being Birder, prize E being Jace, and prize F being Goldo. Look how small that man is. And of course, the last one figure, which it's kind of unfortunate that this is the last one figure, because to be honest with you, this is probably the only one that I'm actually interested in. There's other Ginyu Force sets out there, though to be fair, I don't think we've had a new one in a while. But I don't think I've ever seen a Ginyu Goku figure before. At least I've never looked into him specifically. So this is a pretty sick figure. Obviously, this is basically just reusing the... Where did that go? There we go. The Kaioken one, right? It's basically just the same body sculpt, except they lift his arm up, right? And obviously he's not red. So this is a pretty cool Ichiban Kuji. They're not really too posed, which is the kind of unfortunate thing about this. If you are a fan of the Ginyu Force, this would be really cool. But to be honest with you, I think for me personally, I would definitely prefer a Ginyu Force set where they're all doing the iconic Ginyu Force poses, right? If I was going to get a set of all these guys. So your boy might just pick up the Ginyu Goku. That is a pretty cool figure, so we'll see about that one. But very interesting, because yeah, this was announced, like I said, on the official Kuji website before this one, which we actually got a teaser of the February one. And we eventually got the figures for this one in full, right? Of course, we had the prize A, which is the Frieza, which also has the last one version being with his hand up. Kind of ridiculous that this is the last one version. You're telling me we've fallen so far from grace that just lifting his hand up is the last one version? I understand that this is obviously when he's about to take out the Saiyans, right? When he's, well, fighting, quote-unquote, Bardock. And here, right, this is obviously when he's on Namek. It is two different scenes, but like it's the same figure, bro. They could have made his arm articulated and you could have changed his hand or something like that, and they could have made this two different things. Like they could have easily made this something else, like maybe a final form Frieza, or I'm not sure. They could have even, at least if they're going to do it this way, change his expression so it's like when he's screaming when he's blowing up Planet Vegeta or something like that. That definitely would have been cool. We also got the prize B, which was Zarbon. Funny enough, this I think is the best looking figure in the whole Ichiban Kuji. I might actually pick this one up, funny enough. I'll feel weird if I don't have the full set, so I don't know. We'll see about that. But I mean, I do want like one of every Dragon Ball character at some point, so low-key. Your boy might pick up Zarbon, I'm not gonna lie. We also have Dodoria as the prize C figure. Of course, big pink man here. He looks okay. I'm not really a fan of the hands unless these are articulated. That gapping is kind of disgusting, if I'm being honest with you. We also have your boy Kui as the prize D figure here. I don't know if anybody was asking for a Kui figure, but here you go. I mean, this would be kind of cool to pair up with the Saiyan Armor Vegeta, I guess. That one could definitely be a decent one, because obviously they had that one fight on Namek. This person, by the way, who has a Kefla profile picture, talking about how we haven't gotten any Kefla or Kale or Caulifla figures. I agree with them. And then, of course, we got the minifigures, which are the Dragon Archives, right? We got the boy Guru. We got Dummy Thick Frieza. This one's so funny to me. And, of course, we have Frog Ginyu. I would absolutely love this figure. Even though it is a minifigure, I still may try and cop this just because, like, this is easily my favorite figure out of all of the figures in this Ichiban Kuji. But, yeah, pretty cool. For the lot ratios, there's going to be 2 Friezas, 1 Zarbon, 1 Dodoria, and 1 Kui per store. As well with the Dragon Archives, there will be 6. I believe that's 3 of each. I'm not exactly sure on that, but yeah, I believe it's 6 per store, right? So I guess that would be more like 2 each. And then obviously the mini prizes 13, 28, and 28. As well, we do have these sizes for all of these guys. Frieza will be 18. Zarbon will be 26, Dodoria 24, and Kui 23. Kui is really big, considering how big I feel like these guys are. Like, Zarbon looks like he's going to be huge, and Kui looks like he's going to be a lot shorter. So I don't know, maybe this will be a little bit of a bigger Ichiban Kuji than I thought. I mean, it is, to be fair, a EX Ichiban Kuji, right? Not a regular one, which means that the figures are bigger. So I guess that makes sense that they are a little bit bigger, but kind of weird that they would make these EX because I don't really feel like it like works as well. I don't know. So this was also a little bit unfortunate and also kind of interesting with this and the next tweet. I sort of gave you a little preview by accident, but no Europe Ichiban show for the Frieza Kuji. So basically this means that if you want these figures, you're going to have to import them. You can't just buy them from a normal retailer. However, obviously with how expensive things have gotten for these figures, it is kind of not really like worth even looking into getting them overseas, to be honest with you, because they're so expensive. And that is indeed the case because as you can see here, no February EX Ichiban show listings for the US, only One Piece and JJK. So we are not going to be getting these figures over here. These are going to stay Japanese exclusive, obviously, unless you decide to import them. They are charging $150 for a 14 centimeter One Piece figure, apparently, by the way. That is absolutely insane. This is what I'm saying. These prices basically don't matter now because they're so inconsequential that you're not going to be buying these figures anyway. It is literally cheaper to import these figures. I talked about that a lot, actually, in my Gamma 1 and 2 video from yesterday. Definitely go check that out if you haven't yet, that unboxing video. But, yeah, pretty crazy that this is currently the case of Ichiban Kujis. Basically, for us in the West, I hate to say it, but it's basically like time to say bye-bye to Ichiban Kujis, and if you really want a figure, you gotta import it, because, man, these prices are just not justifiable for your wallet, essentially. Okay, so we talked about these figures a little bit before. Obviously, these are the upcoming April 2023 prize figures. Of course, this includes the Bardock, the Retsuden Warrior Super Saiyan Goku, the Super Saiyan Vegeta, and of course the superhero Gohan, right? You can pre-order all these figures right now at Big Bad Toy Store. Oh wow, actually Bardock sold out already. That's pretty crazy. I'm kind of surprised about that. I'm shocked that people wanted Bardock. Funny enough, Gohan's still there though, so you can pick up Gohan if you really want him. But yeah, I always like to at least just show like one place that you can buy these figures. This is basically MSRP now for these figures. It used to be 20 bucks. Then it was like 22 or 23. Then it was 25. Now it's 27. They've been going up for a while, unfortunately. So, yeah, this is a place that you can buy them, though, if you would like to cop them from there. This was also a very interesting little development that we had here. From this week's Dragon Ball figure news, or Dragon Ball Weekly news, I guess I should say. I don't know why this isn't loading here, but we had a little bit of a sneak preview at something that I didn't think that would happen. We did find out about this at, I believe it was NYCC. Figure Eye Standard is going to be doing a re-release, or I guess you would call it more like a remake? I don't really know how to describe it because we've never had something like this for figures before, but a Son Goku new spec version that has actually gone on sale the 29th. I'll have to look up some videos about this. Basically, what this is it is essentially a re-release of the original figurized standard Goku with some new parts and essentially a better build, right? Because figurized standard has been going for quite some time now, right? It is, I don't want to say it's a relatively old line, but it has been, you know, out there for a little bit now, and I do quite like figurized standard. I actually, funny enough, looking at literally on my desk right now, I have the MUI Goku and the Jiren, and I had a lot of fun building these figures, and I think that they're good quality figures too for model kits, even if you don't paint them or anything like that. So this is interesting because it's like, on one hand, I don't really like them re-releasing figures because it's like, oh, well, you know, the figure's out there and it's literally just using the exact same parts basically that they already have, right? There is some new stuff in here, but of course, you know, I'm sure it's a lot cheaper to make this than a brand new figure. But at the same time, for people who weren't able to get their hands on this, now they can literally just get a better version, or if you want a better version of this, right, it is out there for you. So kind of an interesting one. Definitely let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. I will look up some videos on this myself, and maybe somebody has done a comparison between the original one and the new one. I'm sure that there's somebody out there on YouTube who has, or will, considering that this guy just came out. Moving past that, though, this is something that I just wanted to note. Nothing too crazy in terms of, like, I guess, new news, but if you did not get a chance to get the Dragon Ball GT SH figure at Super Saiyan 4 Goku, this figure is crazy good. A lot of people love this guy. I love this figure. You can cop this guy from the Big Bad Toy Store, because they are basically doing like a second wave of these, essentially, which is pretty cool. So if you want to cop one of these, definitely there you go. Get your hands on that bad boy, boy. We also had another interesting one here. As you can see, we have a new statue. We have seen a couple of these where it's basically like these resin statue companies team up with a official Dragon Ball, like, well, company that would just be Toei, right? It's interesting that it's Sume, actually, or Tsume. I'm assuming it's Sume because, you know, technically the T would be silent. But Sume has actually been in the game for resin statues for quite some time. They are one of the most famous, I would say, in terms of resin figure sculpting. I've heard of them for as long as I've been collecting figures, so it's cool to see them actually getting some work with the official companies. But as you can see, oh mama, that's an expensive figure. This is a 1/6 scale figure, so that is kind of why it's so expensive, but still, this is pretty ridiculous if I do say so myself. However, this is definitely a pretty decent looking statue. I feel like a lot of these that we've taken a look at in the past, I've kind of been like, they're okay. But this actually looks pretty good. The effects are insane, if I do say so myself. The smoke effects and the dust effects and the almost like Ultimate Gohan key effects look crazy on this thing. This thing looks absolutely insane. And to be honest with you, Gohan's face doesn't look too bad. I know that when we've looked at these in the past, the faces have been kind of whack, right? But honestly, this don't look too bad. This honestly looks alright. It's not like perfect or anything like that, but considering that it is, you know, resin statues, I think that this is pretty good looking. Especially from that angle. Ooh, that's a nice angle for that boy. And Super Boo's face also looks really good. They captured his big face and the teeth, I feel like, really well, too. Maybe they could have even made his face a little bit bigger, but it's also because he's doing the double chin, because he's taking a hit there. But yeah, very, very nice, if I do say so myself. I also like, that's a cool detail, that the little key, like, is flying through his arms, basically, right there. Flying through Super Boo's arms. That's sick. I would love to get this thing. Ooh, that's cool. Size comparison to this Dokkan Vegeta. Holy cow, that's insane. Wow, so this guy is as big as that. That's crazy. And, oh, holy cow! Yeah, that should tell you how big this thing is. I mean, it is 1/6 scale, so of course it's 1/6 scale to what this would be in real life. So of course this thing is gonna be huge. But oh mama, that is that's big. That's literally just a dude right there. Holy cow! So if you would like to pre-order this thing, it is $1,000. I personally, right, Resin statues have kind of always been a little bit overpriced for me. I do own one resin statue. Well, technically two. One Dragon Ball one and one Sonic one that I actually have not opened yet. Which I probably will at some point. It's a first 4 figures one. But I think that like a couple $100 is worth it for these. But $1,000, I mean, it is really big, right? That is fair, right? At least with this, right? I don't know if I would say it's worth your money, but at least the size is there, right? You're definitely not like losing out on the size of this figure, I feel like, for at least as much money as you're paying for it. Obviously, this isn't for your average fan or your average collector, right? This is for somebody who collects these statues exclusively, or, you know, has a lot of money to throw around. This is the type of thing for them. Obviously, this is limited as well. As, you'll probably also saw, right? It's only 1,400 pieces. So that means that there's only going to be that many made in the world, right? So because of that, obviously, if you want to get it, you basically have to pre-order it. And not to mention, you know, obviously this isn't going to be like a readily available thing or anything like that, but that's usually how they do these resin statues. So yeah, I will say though, this one is really good. I am happy to see that at least they are doing some good work, and I feel like these have just gotten better every time I've seen them. I don't know if they've worked with Sume before. I feel like this is the first time that I've seen them work with them, because most of the Sume statues I feel like I've seen have not been like technically officially licensed by Dragon Ball or Toei, right? But it is cool to see them officially doing it for Sume as well. Good on you guys, for sure. Alright, moving on from that, we do have some correct color images and some multi-angles for some of these figures here. As you can see, here is the Bardock. I definitely want to get this figure. I'll have to see maybe, though, because he is going to be really small, especially for the price, because this is a history box figure, and the history box figures are super tiny, so we'll have to see on that one. It is a pretty cool figure, though, if I do say so myself. Here we have the correct colors for the Super Saiyan Armor Goku, and I gotta say, this figure is awesome. I might actually cop this one myself. I was debating on whether or not getting the base one or the Super Saiyan one. I think maybe what I'll do is I'll get the Super Saiyan version of Goku and then the base form version of Gohan. I think that could be a good cop. But yeah, very, very cool. This is also the factory confirmations for these. Made in China, basically for Dragon Ball, it's just Gohan. And at Vietnam, it's going to be Goku, Vegeta, and Bardock. So, if you guys are familiar with Dragon Ball figures and how this all works, right? Basically, where the figures are made kind of determines their quality a little bit. Lately, some of the figures that we've been getting from Vietnam have actually been really, really good. They have been pretty close to the original images that we see, and just in general, they have been of pretty good quality, where they used to be a little bit worse. But hopefully they don't fumble the bag on these with obviously their track record. They've been doing pretty good recently. Moving on from that, we do have the clean production images for these boys. These are just basically your high quality HD stuff. Super excited for this Gohan, by the way. Definitely going to be copping that bad boy for sure. This is a little bit unfortunate though. This guy is confirmed to not come with a regular foot base. So basically what that means is, instead of a little thing that attaches to his foot, I believe what that means is that there's going to be a actual like platform that he stands on. I assume because he's not standing on a platform here, the pegs aren't going to be coming out of his feet, and they're going to be going into his feet holes, which is good, because obviously then that means that you could take this figure off the stand and stand him up, assuming that he can stand up on his own, and this isn't just movie magic that we're looking at with how he's standing. He is going to be 12 centimeters though, which is quite small, but he definitely looks like he's going to be pretty wide with this stance, so we'll have to see how he actually compares to some other figures when he releases. Now, this isn't Dragon Ball figures, but I did have to include this in here because holy cow, I'm excited for Superhero, and I feel like this is something that you guys would have wanted to see. The home box art for the Dragon Ball Superhero movie is awesome. Look at this, bro. So cool. This is going to be spread out on the actual box of the home release of the movie, which is super cool. Here is the full illustration in higher quality. Very, very cool. Orange Piccolo looks insane here, by the way. Definitely like that a lot. And speaking of which, here is the DVD release as it's going to look like in Japan. You can see that this comes with, of course, the DVD on Blu-ray, a little sleeve, a little book with a bunch of different stuff in it. This is obviously what we've been getting teased for a while. We've known that the Blu-ray is going to be coming out in December. I don't know if they're going to be releasing this in English. I would hope so. I don't think we've gotten, or well, I guess it doesn't matter if it's in English or not. I guess I should say like a US release of this, right? We don't have any official confirmation as far as I'm aware. I would assume that they would release it at the same time because it's a DVD, right? Who cares? You know, like delaying it or something like that. So we'll have to see. But this is also probably when the HD movie will make its way online because somebody's going to rip it from the Blu-ray. I'm just saying. All right, moving on past that though. This was a little bit unfortunate. Bandai increased prices as well. As quantity for prize figures in Japan from January 2023. So GameStation's now paying 36,000 yen instead of 28,000. So DB orders could plummet even more by the end of 2023, and there may only be 2 prize figures a month, which would be really unfortunate. But this is kind of the way that Dragon Ball has been going for a while with the prize figures specifically, right? We have been getting less and less over time because they've been going up and up in price. And obviously, if they're not selling too well at these arcades, right, where obviously in Japan you get these figures from a claw machine, you know, of course, they're going to be less inclined to bring them to their store because, of course, you know, maybe they're not making as much money. So, yeah, very interesting to see, but hopefully things will look up for that in the future. Here's a high quality look at the 12th anniversary UDM The Burst 52. We've seen this a couple of times now. I remember when we first saw this, this was like really sticky quality, the image for some reason. But yeah, here are all the figures here. Definitely I might want to cop the Warrior in black, low-key. He looks kind of sick, I'm not going to lie. Also, Trunks is pretty well sculpted. I'm honestly kind of surprised with how well he is. But yeah, this is a higher quality image of this Gashapon here. This was also very exciting news. Of course, y'all know that as soon as we get this, there will be a video made about our boy. Less than a month until the Tamashii Nations Tokyo event. His time is almost here. This was even tweeted on the 21st. So this tweet was actually from, what, 9 days ago by the time you're watching this, 10 days ago. So we have only a little while longer to wait. I'm really excited. Obviously, if you're unaware, at NYCC, when they showed off Orange Piccolo, they teased another figure going to be shown off at a month. Or in a month, excuse me, at the Tamashii Nations Tokyo event. And of course, we're going to assume it's Gohan Beast if it was right next to Orange Piccolo. That was what they kind of teased. So, we will be getting to see that. But we actually have some more Gohan Beast news in this video. Don't you worry about that. I know it was in the title, and I know I haven't talked about it yet. I'm trying to keep it a secret, bro. It's a secret to everyone. Anyway. This was also pretty interesting. We have these sizes for these guys. And as well, another thing, only Joe and Varroque sculpting prize figures. Expect more months of small-scale figures in the first 3 months of 2023. Only Solid AgiWorks Trunks is the only, like, non-small-scale figure, which is interesting. Their work is really good. It is kind of a shame that their figures are on the smaller side, right? You do wonder if that is also Bandai trying to cut corners and cut costs again. But honestly, I don't know if I would go that far. I mean, maybe at this point with Bandai, I wouldn't be surprised. But nonetheless, right, this is the sizes of these guys. But it is good to see at least Joe and Varroque sculpting because they are, like, really good. Varroque obviously being one of my favorite sculptors of all time. So definitely not opposed to him sculpting some more stuff for sure. Very excited about this release. We've been talking about this guy for many, many figure news videos. And finally, he is close to being released. On the 17th of November in Japan, my man is actually going to be coming out. I might have to cop this guy from a import. I'm going to see. I don't remember if I pre-ordered him. I'll have to check that out. But yeah, the Clear Eyes Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan, I guess. Yeah, Great Saiyan. Or Great Saiyan. Great Saiyan, man. Sorry, I'm saying too many things at once, so my brain is getting tripped up. Very excited about this one. We also have the special production image. If you are unaware with the Clear Rise gimmick, basically, the reason why this line is called the Clear Rise line is because the idea is that if you shine a light through this figure, it glows and lights up, especially with the hair. That's why it kind of looks so weird and like dulled out, almost like it's a vinyl figure in this picture, right? Because when you pour light through it, that was an interesting analogy. When you put light through it, right, it sort of looks like it's glowing. So this will actually be my first Clear Rise figure. I had some other ones pre-ordered, but they're still stuck in shipment heck, or Heffel, as TFS Goku would say, on Tokyo Taku mode. So this guy may actually be my first one, so I am quite excited to get this guy for sure. Moving on, this was pretty cool. Obviously, this is a card from the DBS TCG, but I just wanted to show that this is pretty cool, that they are actually, or no, I'm sorry, this is a Dragon Ball Heroes card. I misread that, my bad. Yeah, this is one of the new, like, dramatic art cards, so that'll be cool to display with the Solid Edgeworks Gohan. I don't know if they made this card because this figure just released, because obviously this card is from, like, the new set of the dramatic art cards. I would assume it's because the figure was released, and then, you know, they're like, oh, well, you know, we can kind of, you know, match him up, sort of thing. But yeah, pretty cool there. Oh boy. So the Figure Art Zero has fallen so far from grace, bro. It's so sad to see. This used to be one of the best figure lines, in my opinion. This line was so good. I absolutely adore the cooler from this set. It's so good. And as you can see here, this is the Trunks in the packaging. Oh boy. Man, look at that face, bro. I know it looks pretty bad on the packaging, but like, oof. Ooh. That's a little rough. That's a little rough around the edges, I ain't even gonna lie. I'm sure I'm gonna see this guy in a local store of mine too, because a local store of mine, the one where I actually get the Vegeta magazines, actually does get Figure Art Zero figures, because I know the Super Saiyan Goku they had at one point. But yeah, such a shame to see how this figure turned out. This could have been such a cool one, but oh well, it is what it is. The packaging does look nice though. I quite like how they do the packaging for these figures. I think it's interesting. It didn't used to be this like, this, I guess you would say, aspect ratio, right? I feel like it used to be horizontal instead of vertical, but maybe that's just because of like the way that the figure is, that it's like that. Kind of unfortunate to see though, nonetheless. And we do have this Ichiban Kuji coming up. Obviously, we've been talking about this one for a fat minute, ladies and gentlemen. This is, of course, our November Ichiban Kuji set for SDBH. Makes sense because, obviously, you know, it's the anniversary of SDBH right now. Of course, keep in mind, a lot of these figures are reused, right? The Gogeta Zeno is reused from literally this one. They just changed the color, right? The new Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Goku is reused from the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Goku from, I believe this was from last year. Last year or 2 years ago. The Masked Saiyan Super Saiyan 3, right? The Rose, the Crimson Masked Saiyan, is reused from this one, right? They literally just changed his hand position and added a little bit more hair. They may have changed the eye sculpt. I don't know. I'll have to compare them next to each other. And, of course, we have the Xeno Vegeta, which is basically reused from the Greatest Saiyan Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I gotta apologize, Baggy. Your boy is gonna be importing the Super Saiyan 3 Rose. How can I not, bro? This figure is so cool. And even if it's reused, bro, I'm sorry, I just don't care. with Dragon Ball Heroes figures, I've just come to accept what I can get because they're just so far and few in between. I may even get the Xeno Vegeta because I really want to get the Xeno Goku from last year. I still am trying to cop that bad boy. I actually have the Vegito and, of course, Masked Saiyan himself. So definitely keep an eye out, though, if you really want to get these figures. Again, probably the only ones I would really recommend would be like Super Saiyan 3 Rose and maybe Vegeta if you'll want to round out the set. But the rest of this set is really not that great as it is. It's kind of unfortunate, honestly, because the SDBH figures are very like hit or miss, and a lot of the figures this year were missed. Although the Warrior in Black that is in this set, I'm definitely excited to get that too. So definitely will be trying to cop that bad boy. Okay, so very exciting stuff here. We do have some April production images. We've been talking about the boy Android 16 for some time now, and Woo! My man looks so good. We'll take a more detailed look at him in a moment. Don't you worry about that. We also have the Solid Edgeworks Vegeta. This figure is awesome. We have a Super Saiyan version of him as well, Majin in fact, and we have your boy Gotenks. We actually do have some clear production images of these guys without the logo smacked on them. Android 16 looks fantastic. He looks so good. This figure is sculpted so well. Obviously, this being a GX Materia figure, it is sculpted by the boy Varquo Varroque. Still don't know how to pronounce it. And oh, man, it looks so good. I love this. I was curious what they were going to do. I guess I kind of assumed it was going to be the Rocket Punch, but man, this looks really, really good. We have the Clear Eyes Gotenks, which is also a pretty good looking figure. I don't know if I'm going to cop this one just because I have a couple of Gotenks figures now that I don't think I really need another one. And obviously this is a pretty basic pose, but I believe this is when he first appears and goes Super Saiyan. So this is technically based off of something. It's not just like a, you know, basic pose. And then, of course, we have the Solid Edgeworks Majin Vegeta. Oh my gosh, this figure looks so cool, dude. I really, really like this one. And of course, we have the base form version. Let me take a drink of water real quick. Hydrate or dihydrate, baby. Both of these look really, really good. I believe that this is actually based off of a scene from the manga. I think this is when he's walking into the World Tournament Arena in the Boost Saga, pretty sure. But what's pretty cool about these actually, oh, well, hold on, I'll show you that in a second, is that these are actually based off of, yeah, here you go, this is Gotenks, right? This is his debut scene. Yeah, I was right about that. Good job, Brain. Interesting that they made him green. I wonder if that's supposed to be more like anime colors rather than the manga, which is interesting. But this shot of Vegeta, we actually have a shot now that we have the multi-angles, and don't you worry, we'll take a look at that in a moment, is actually based off of this piece of art. I'm sure that you have probably seen this before, and it's really cool that they decided to base the figure off of this. If you have like a printed out piece of this art, high quality version or something like that, it would be awesome to display this figure like this. It's kind of a shame that we don't have a Goku to pair with this. Maybe they will release a Goku like this, I don't know, it would be kind of cool. But man, this Majin Vegeta is so sick, if I do say so myself. Really, really like that. And what's super cool about him specifically is that this guy actually is not reused in the slightest, as you can see, right? Which is very, very nice. You can see that from the Matchmaker's Vegeta, the sculpting on the hair is actually different. The sculpting on the face is actually different. And the sculpting on the body is absolutely different. So, no worries on that. Everything here is brand new. This sculptor, the boy Joe, sculpted this figure from the ground up. You absolutely love to see it. I assume then, of course, that goes for the same thing for the base form Vegeta as well. But yeah, super excited for these figures. Definitely one of the best, like, I think, overall batches of monthly figures that we've had in a minute for sure. But yeah, here are the multi-angles of the Android 16. Look at my man, bro. Let's get that. Ooh, that's so sick, dude. I love the pose that they chose from as well. Obviously, it's just from the anime and manga, but still, right? It's so good. I like that he's like down on the ground like this. That's a lot more unique, right? There he is from the side. I'm wondering if this like disconnects or how far off of his like arm this is gonna be interesting to see. I also wonder if this figure is gonna need a stand, because from the looks of it, it looks like he's able to just stand all by himself, because usually the GX Materia figures have some kind of stand for them, but this honestly just looks like my man would be Jay chillin' without the stand. I don't know. But this does look really good. The only thing that I see that is a little bit worrying, let's go to this picture since it's a little bit more bright, is this, right? This gapping here. I know Android 16 kind of has a little bit of like a line there, but that is a little bit harsh, to be honest with you. Hopefully they fix that on the final version. They have done a pretty decent job recently of, in some of the production images, there's some errors, and then with the final figure, it is actually fixed. So hopefully that's the case. But man, this guy looks really sick. I am very excited for this figure for sure. Definitely going to be copping this guy. I do not have a single Android 16 figure either. And I do have an SH Figure Arts Android 17 and 18, but I don't think I actually have any prize figures of them. But yeah, these look great. Very excited for these guys. As well, we have multi-angles of Vegeta here. Very, very cool figures here. Oh, that front angle is so menacing, bro. Holy cow. That is crazy. By the way, keep in mind, these colors, I believe, are not completely accurate because, like, if we look back here, right, you can see that the colors on this one compared to the colors on this one, right, are definitely a lot more drowned out. Keep in mind that is basically like, you know, if this image goes through any post-processing, if, you know, different people post it, different cameras, all that sort of shenanigans, right? We'll see the actual colors later on, but I believe they'll be closer to that original image. But anyhow, here is the base form version of the boy. Very, very cool. Definitely super nice, if I do say so myself. I think both of these are really nice Vegeta figures. Like, I would consider picking up both of these. I usually don't pick up, like, two versions of the same figure, like, even if obviously it's, like, a different head sculpt or, like, form, technically. But, man, these look so nice. Like, everything about these Vegetas just looks perfect, if I do say so myself. I am hoping, praying that these guys turn out good, since obviously usually Solid Edgeworks is sculpted in Vietnam. We'll have to see. And here is your boy Gotenks as well. This figure also looks pretty good. Again, if you don't have a Gotenks figure, this might be a decent cop for you. Definitely not a bad choice. And I do like the hair color. I think it's a little bit unique. Obviously, it's because it's the whole clear eyes gimmick where you would shine a light through it. And then, of course, you know, it would kind of glow like that. Here are the heights for these figures. Android 17 is very small at 11, or Android 16, excuse me, is very small at 11 centimeters. However, I don't think that he's going to be a small figure necessarily. Of course, technically, in terms of the height, yes, he'll be a very small figure. But funny enough, I said here, right, that probably he's going to be pretty wide, right? Because if we go back to the production image here, right, you can see that this figure is definitely no slouch in terms of the horizontal length of the figure, right? So I'm assuming that he's going to be a decent size. And if you've ever opened a GX Materia figure, you kind of know the size of them already. So it makes sense that he kind of won't be that big because obviously he's, you know, kind of down on the ground. The Gotenks is going to be 14 centimeters, and Vegeta will actually be 19, which is very nice to see. Finally, a little bit of a bigger figure. So definitely going to be excited to cop those bad boys. Again, really hoping that they turn out nice. Really, really hoping. We also have some special production images for these guys. Holy cow, ladies and gentlemen. These are sick. I'm sure you remember these from a couple of the other Solid Edgeworks figures that we looked at. They do these occasionally where they have these super cool like versions of these figures where basically they have these, I guess you would just call them special production images. I think that's a baggy said, yeah. Basically they're essentially just like cool ways to take pictures of the figures that aren't just the white background, I guess is the best way to describe it. Very, very sick though, if I do say so myself. I quite like these a lot. I'm definitely going to be copping at least one of these bad boys. And I really like that they do these because these are a lot more unique production images too. It's not as good as of a look, I guess, like at the figure in its finer details, because obviously seeing it like this, right, is much easier to see all that. But it is still cool because it's, you know, like, ooh, ah, look how cool the figure is. By the way, this is probably the thumbnail you're looking at right here. Anyway, though, ladies and gentlemen, let's get a move on here. Final piece of April information, factory confirmations. So, GX Materia 16 is going to be made in China, and as I assumed, the Solid Edgeworks Vegetas and the Clear Rise Gotenks are going to be made in Vietnam. So like I said, Vietnam has had a pretty good track record of sculpting figures up until this point, so I'm hoping that they continue with that trend and make these guys look as good as possible, because I know that these are figures that people are really, really looking forward to. The Solid Edgeworks line has come such a long way since its original debut and has gotten so much better, which is nice to see, because I feel like a lot of the time with Dragon Ball figures recently, we've been on the decline for a lot lot of things like the Ichiban Kuji, right, and some of the prize figures and whatnot. But I feel like the Solid Edgeworks line is the one thing that has remained kind of going up. Even the Clear Rise line has honestly gotten better with time. And I mean, the GX material line was just good for the start. But it has gone up, which is good too. You can also pre-order these guys on the Big Bad Toy Store if you would like to. As you can see, they are all available here. I'm going to assume if I click on this Majin Vegeta, is it already sold out? No, wow, I'm shocked. Interesting. And Bardock sold out? Interesting. But yeah, you can pick up these guys here. Obviously, from other figure retailers, you'll also be able to get these guys too. But man, I am excited for these figures for sure. Definitely would love to cop these guys myself. When these come out, you know your boy's going to be all over that. This is something super adorable that I just had to include in here. I believe what this is it's supposed to be like for your luggage, right? Because this isn't the phone case. You would put in a little like picture of like, hey, here's your address and name in case your luggage got lost. But default in there, it comes with a picture of Pan and Piccolo taking a selfie. And obviously this is supposed to be like Piccolo's phone, because obviously this is Piccolo's phone case in the movie. Very cute. Just had to include that in there. This is also a little bit of a sad piece of news. We're going up and down today, ladies and gentlemen. We have November prize order numbers time, and it's not looking good for Dragon Ball. The G-Go, excuse me, stores have ordered more of the likes of Mirko 129, Denji 225 than all of Dragon Ball combined, which is these 4, by the way, for this particular month. Definitely going to try and cop that bad boy still. With the price increase, the next year could get worse. Dragon Ball slowly going down, yeah. Obviously, like we were talking about before, they increased the price of the figures for the actual, like, game stations, the arcades that buy these figures for them people to win them on the arcade machines. They increased the price for that. So, since this is the case already, with Dragon Ball obviously not really getting that many figures as it is, we could see even a decline in the future, which is very unfortunate. But obviously, Mirko is a very popular figure, and of course, I mean, Chainsaw Man literally did just come out for the anime, so, you know, it makes sense that these are also doing very good, too. Alright. I teased it in the title. And I'm going to finally talk about it. I know you've been waiting for it. This is such an interesting timeline that we live in, ladies and gentlemen. Dragon Stars Gohan Beast and Piccolo versus Gamma 2 Battle Pack. The merch ban has finally been lifted. So as we've been talking about, Gohan Beast has seemingly been in figure purgatory, where he has not had a figure been able to be made about him for some reason, even though it would make sense to release it when the movie came out. But it seems that Dragon Stars of all lines is going to be taking up the reins on a brand new Gohan Beast figure. If you're unfamiliar, Dragon Stars are basically the Dragon Ball action figures that you see pretty commonly at like your local Targets, your GameStops, that type of thing. They are definitely more like action figures rather than collectibles. Of course, you know, us being figure crackheads, we treat them as collectibles anyway. But, you know, this line is kind of typically known for being more on that action figure-esque side rather than like SH Figure Arts, which is, of course, you would, you know, kind of associate that more with like collecting-ish rather than like, you know, giving it to a kiddo to play with type of thing, right? They are going to be getting the world's first official Gohan Beast figure, it seems, which is crazy. Obviously, soon we are going to have that announcement from Tamashi for the SH Figure Arts Gohan Beast, but we may just get this guy first, and I believe with the way that the timeline lines up here, this guy should actually release before that figure does. So this will be very interesting to see what he looks like. Your boy may just have to cop him just because we've been waiting for a Gohan Beast figure for so long now, dude. Yeah, we might just have to cop him, especially if he's only 20 bucks, because typically the Dragon Stars figures are only like 20 bucks for one single figure. You know, we'll have to see. As well, going to be interesting to see that Piccolo versus Gamma 2 battle pack. I'm assuming that will be regular Piccolo, because obviously he fights Gamma 2 in regular form, but maybe it'll be Potential Unleashed. I'm not sure. That'll be interesting to see. Yeah, and so this is also very nice news. That means that the prize figures and etc. should be around the corner from April 2023, which is nice because finally, now that we have one, the floodgates are open. So now we can get more. Thank God. Yeah, so this is what Baggy was talking about here that I was kind of just talking about here too. At the Tamashii Nations, however, with the Orange Piccolo, they might not announce a date, so we might still not have known when the merch ban would officially lift. Yeah, now we know it's after April. And here's my comment. But yeah, very interesting as well. This was also some interesting Dragon Stars news too. It seems we're going to be getting a Super Saiyan Gogeta, a Super Saiyan Vegito, and Omega Shinron, which is quite interesting. I'm assuming this is going to be Dragon Ball Super Broly, but I feel like we got a Super Saiyan 1. I know we got a base form 1 and a blue one. Maybe we never got a Super Saiyan 1. I know we have a Super Saiyan 1 of Super Gogeta, like the one from the Janemba movie. Also, this picture is Sin Shinron, but I think Baggy actually did mean Omega Shinron. I mean, I'm sure when you Google Omega Shinron, this guy just comes up. So this would be interesting to see this coming up for Dragon Stars. I'll be interested to see how they sculpt Omega for sure, because obviously since it's more of an action figure line, that one might be a little bit more complicated to do. This is also quite interesting as well. The next power-up pack is going to be Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, no doubt to match the Omega Shinron. If you are unaware, basically what the power pack is they take a figure from Dragon Stars already, as there is a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta that we already have, and they basically add like a bunch of like effect parts and stuff like that in it, you know, so you could power him up, basically, you know, type of meme. So that is going to be interesting to see as well, what effect parts they include with the boy. But yeah, very, very exciting overall. A little bit more extra information on this. With the prize fair next week, the calendar will update on Tuesday with the schedules up to June. I'm now expecting to see at least one Orange Piccolo and one Gohan Beast figure release either in May or June. So hopefully we get to see that. Yeah, this is a little bit scared though on my part and Baggy's for sure. Fortunately, due to his design, Orange Piccolo cannot be reused, which is great, right? So any Orange Piccolo will have to be new. But there is worry for Gohan Beast. Yeah, with what's so unfortunate about the current state of Dragon Ball figures, with how we've seen all the figures, and especially considering they really reused that original Ichiban Kuji Gohan like 3 times now, right, including the original, they could very well just reuse that one for Gohan Beast, which would be very unfortunate because I definitely want an original. And funny enough, since I saw that original figure, I always thought that the hair for Ultimate Gohan was a little bit too long, and maybe they were just doing that so they could just replace it with white hair. I don't know. We'll have to see. But nonetheless, right, obviously these will be prize figures and not Ichiban Kuji figures, so that won't be, you know, under this prize fair section of what we're talking about here, right? With the prize figure specifically, that would be a Kuji thing. But I guess they could definitely reuse the Ultimate Gohan that we already have from Bam Presto, and, you know, make that guy a beast, which I honestly would not be surprised considering he's also gotten a Super Saiyan version at this point. So we'll have to see, but hopefully this means that we will actually be able to see some Gohan Beast and Orange Piccolo figures soon. I am very excited. With literally everything going on, we are going to see something soon. We are either going to see Dragon Stars first. We're obviously going to see the SH Figure Arts one very soon. And when the prize fair happens, of course, we will then be seeing the figures from that month. And hopefully that will be Gohan Beast and Orange Piccolo. And of course, with the calendar update, we'll get to see the text. We won't get to see the figure yet, though. So, soon, my brothers. Very soon we will get to see the big bad boy in figure form. I am quite excited. I am very, very excited that we finally have some kind of confirmation that we're getting something, because then that means that, you know, again, this opens the floodgates for more possibilities for more figures for sure. I forgot to include this. To end this video on a very goofy note, there has been a official Frieza Pod bed, beanbag type of thing. I love this image, by the way. I assume this is like him doing the death beam and shooting his coworker. That is quite goofy, if I do say so myself. Apparently this thing is 30,000 yen, which I believe is like 300 bucks. I'm assuming this is a thing for kids, but I mean, these are all adults in here. There's even some businessmen in here, so... I don't know. This is official, by the way, too, which is just so funny, but... Anyway, that is going to do it for today's video. Let's hit refresh on Baggy's Twitter just to make sure that there ain't nothing new. Nah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. I am so excited that we finally have some confirmation of the beast finally going to be coming to figure form. I'm going to be very curious to see how he looks for Dragon Stars. Again, if he looks even halfway decent, maybe even if he looks terrible, I'll still get him. I don't know. I might just have to. But of course, whenever we get more information on Gohan Beast, I will be making specific breaking news videos about that. Absolutely. Just like I have been. Again, hope you guys have been enjoying the new format. I've been enjoying doing these like little, you know, sporadic videos where basically if something big happens, then we talk about it and then we sort of refresh and re-go over it in the sort of recap videos that we do every other week as we have been. So definitely go check out, speaking of which, the Frieza video and the Ginyu video if you are interested in learning more about those figures specifically. But yeah, get hyped. Gohan Beast soon. I'm really excited. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about all the figures today, of course. Let me know what figure you're the most excited for. I think most people are probably going to say Majin Vegeta, if I had to guess. And even the base form Vegeta, because obviously this figure is very good too. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.